bias. Censorship is nothing but a bias. It's deciding from a group of people's opinions what should be free to the public. When you're speaking on biases, that's what it is in essence. And as you said, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. We can't formulate a valid opinion without all the correct facts. And when you censor things like the media, which is where we view politics, I'm not going to see Mitt Romney on the Tiger Walk. I have to watch TV. So when you talk about censorship, that's the only place that I can derive my information from, and the internet, which is also censored. It just it can lead to a cookie cutter type of image, and we know that's not realistic, and it can lead to misunderstandings.
But censoring information may lead to like a wrong image that's basically perceived by the public. So if we censor the information, if we censor everything that you say that we should censor, that means it could be given as perceived wrongful doing.
Well, how could wrong information disseminated? I mean, you mentioned about wrong information being displayed to the public. If someone is stating this from their mouth and you see this on a video, how is that interpreted wrong? And I understand that people have, may hear differently and interpret things in their own way, but I think for the majority, most people found it offensive, except for his maybe supporters.
Okay, well, let's take it from, okay, we're still talking about the 47%, correct?
Well, just,
Correct.
that's an
general.
example.
That's just the example. My example is that, from my understanding, that was something that was a private dinner or fundraiser or something of the sort.
Right.
And so that was not suppressed and then let out, or censored is what you would say, and then let out. It was not supposed to be taped at all, from my understanding, because it was something that was private.
Right.
So that example would not be relevant to what we're talking about, because that was a private setting and someone decided to put that into the public, which was not supposed to happen.
But censorship doesn't mean just hiding information. It means deciding which information is going to be released. So it is censorship.
Yes, but it was a private.
It doesn't matter if it's private or not. It's media and it's censorship. And censorship is deciding what gets released and what doesn't get released. Mitt Romney knows the camera's on him. He's running for president. He had to have known there was a camera on him, and it was up to whoever recorded it to censor what they put out from the video and what they didn't. And they chose to put out the fact that he said the 47%. It still falls under censorship.
So, I think, that with that, that was just one of the examples. Had it got to the media, they could have, as they always are, controlled by the government, and they have their laws, determine what they want to put out there and what they did not. But another example, for the First Amendment, freedom of speech was adopted in December 15, 1791, but prior to that, the spread of the news was severely curtailed by censorship, especially in England and the rest of the Europe. The censorship just masks. It doesn't give people the free flow of ideas. You're talking about musicians, you're talking about artists, you're talking about people with creative, professions. Nowadays with internet, Facebook, and so forth, there are, the laws that are in place with whereby people are prevented from expressing themselves, having a freedom of expression. Whereby we can have more of an idea of who they are, what they stand for, their ideas, just basically about them. But again, this goes back to people covering and just showing the public what they want to be seen and not the true identity of them.
So we're trying to close, guys. 2 minutes, please.
Oh, okay. So, real quick, to the point when you're limits the free flow of ideas. I wouldn't necessarily have to agree with that, but it also it limits what people can, censoring limits what people can see as far as whether it's harmful information or seeing violence where it's depicted in a way that not every person would want necessarily someone in the family to see. But to close, we think censorship is needed for the reason of monitoring what people can and do hear and or see. But so that's our stance, and that would be my close.
Okay. Well, we appreciate your stance and your position. However, you know, we are standing on the fact that it robs the public, the society of information that could be vitally important to us. Particularly when we're talking about government situations, the situation that happened over in Libya, there was information that wasn't produced up front, and some information were censored. And so, you know, with that, we just put our people at a vulnerable state when the truth is not there, when the truth is not prevailing.
In my closing, censorship is needed as necessary to preserve the secrets of the nation. So basically, what that means is not everything y'all need to know. Sometimes the media, people don't need to know everything that's going on behind closed doors. Because if there's going to be a bomb going off, if there's going to be a bomb that's about to go off, and it's going to affect millions of people, let's see if we can defuse the situation before we let the public know. So in my defense to that, we need to sometimes work with our government, with the FBI, whatever, to sometimes, but this is just an example, to make sure we defragmentize the whole situation before we let the media know of certain situations, because not everything is for you to know.
And I'll add on to her for the closing. This is a democracy. People are supposed to be equal and accessible to equal information. That's just point blank in our Constitution. And suppressing information suppresses growth, because we need information to grow. And censorship is a stunt on the growth of the nation.